Hey, how's it going? I'm Jack. This is Subjectively Speaking, the show where we discuss character design through a subjective lens, which basically means that most of what I'm saying is my opinion. It's open for debate, discussion, and your input, so please leave your thoughts in the comments and start a conversation. While you're there, don't forget to throw me a like and subscribe for more content. It really helps me out a lot. Also, be sure to check out our sponsor, Blink. Click the link in the description for great deals on art supplies delivered straight to your home from their website. Alright guys, without any further ado, let's jump right in. Today, we'll be discussing a game that really needs no introduction. Since its launch in May of 2016, Overwatch has been taking the world by storm. Its gameplay is engaging and enjoyable for all players regardless of skill level, and its development team has worked hard to maintain a relationship with the fanbase in order to continuously modify the game to meet the needs of its players. I was excited about Overwatch months before its official launch after I watched their first cinematic trailer. The animation, world building, and characters easily got me invested and excited to experience more. And to this day, it's still one of my favorite games. With so many other first-person shooters saturating the world of gaming, Overwatch is like a breath of fresh air. Its bright colors, compelling lore, and unique characters do an amazing job setting it apart from the slew of desaturated and hyper-realistic multiplayer shooters that are so easily associated with the genre. Other games have been compared to Overwatch due to their similarities in gameplay style and art direction. I'm referring, of course, to the ever-notorious, class-based, character-driven, and stylized Team Fortress 2, another one of my favorite games. Because first-person shooters are so often similar in look and design, it's easy to see how one could draw a line between these two games. And yes, I'm sure that the developers of Overwatch looked to TF2 as a model to help shape their game in the early stages, but they really are very, very different games. And a lot of that can be attributed to the unique sense of style, color, character design, and animation used in Overwatch. Or, to put it in simpler terms, the art direction. Overwatch's main themes are those of inclusivity, compassion, and teamwork. The world and lore behind the game is built around friends working together, oppressed individuals overcoming their adversities, and the consequences of impulsive actions. These themes are reinforced by the design choices made by the artists working on the game. Take, for example, Orisa, one of my favorite character designs in the game. Orisa was designed to reflect not only the culture of Ify, the young Nubanian girl who created her, but to reimagine what the concept of artificial intelligence might look like. Oftentimes when we hear the word robot, we think of cold steel and violent, inhuman actions. But in the world of Overwatch, robots, or Omnic as they're called in this universe, have attained a level of sentience equal to that of humans, and their rights as intelligent and social beings are the source of great unrest throughout the lore. Orisa, simply by design, challenges any preconceived notion of what a robot can look like. Her soft silhouette is comprised of rounded shapes. Even her beast-like horns, a glimpse into her strong will and power, are round, and from some angles look more like bunny ears. Her colors are light and cheery, golds, tans, and greens that conjure up thoughts of a peaceful African plain. And her face, though solid and unmoving like a shield, is still capable of emoting in ways that would evoke compassion in almost anyone. This translation from theme to concept to character design all adds up to a really solid world that is compelling and easy to get invested in at any level. It establishes a clear divide between the good guys and the antagonistic forces in the universe. If the main themes are compassion and inclusivity, then the bad guys are the characters who are cruel and act of their own will. And if the good guys are designed in ways that reflect these themes, then the bad guys must have visual elements that contrast those design choices dramatically. You see, when it comes to good storytelling and game design, it can really all be boiled down to great character design. Think about it. If you knew nothing about Overwatch and were shown two different characters from the game, let's say Lucio and Widowmaker, I'm willing to venture that 9 out of 10 people could identify Lucio as a good guy and Widowmaker as a bad guy. We've been trained to recognize different color cues, facial expressions, outfits, and even body language as clear indicators of a character's intent. Snow White wears blue and yellow, the evil queen wears purple and black. Luke Skywalker has a green lightsaber, Darth Vader's is red. This is just one crucial element of character design, color. But let's take a step back, because there are a few other important things involved in creating something as iconic as this. When we talk about elements of strong character design, most of it can be broken down into 3 important principles: color, movement, and silhouette. For those of you unfamiliar with these terms in the context of character design, I'll break them down real quick for you. Color is pretty straightforward. Color in character design is used to evoke deeply rooted emotional reactions from an audience. For example, the color red has meant danger ever since the first Cro-Magnon had his hand bitten off by a giant killer bird and saw blood. This is the most basic and often most overused application of the color red, but there's a good reason for it. Color can also be used to block out elements of the character that the designer feels should be highlighted. For example, a character that is almost entirely black can have a high contrasting white mask that draws the eyes of the viewer up to his head. Movement, when used in the context of character design, is basically what you'd expect it to mean as well. It's often used to convey an element of the character's personality to the audience at a glance, as well as imply the physical motion of the character without it actually moving. Tracer is small, slender, and long, and even if you've never seen her move, you could probably guess that when she does, she's quick, agile, and energetic. Roadhog, on the other hand, implies very different movement with his design, leaving a viewer to understand quickly that he prefers to bring his targets to him rather than chase after them. Silhouette is a little trickier to understand. A silhouette, speaking generally, is the image of a person, animal, object, or scene represented as a solid shape of a single color, with its edges matching the outline of the subject. This is essentially what it means in relationship to character design, although in most cases it doesn't refer to a solid shape of single color. Silhouette in character design refers to the physical presence of a character and, like movement, can imply a lot about the character's behavior and how they interact with other characters in their world. Reinhardt's silhouette is massive, taking up a large majority of the screen no matter where he is. He's sharp, spiky, and made mostly up of hard edges. Not really something you want to mess with. Mei, on the other hand, has a silhouette that can be most easily compared to that of a snowman. Round, soft, and bottom-heavy, she gives the viewer a sense of sturdiness without being downright threatening. This particular example, of course, has come to be viewed as more of an experiment in cruel irony. All of these elements are first implemented when an artist translates their concept into a two-dimensional sketch. This, of course, is called concept art. Most characters go through several stages of concept art before the final visual conclusion is reached, and will change a lot from start to finish. Let's look quickly at the concept art for Mei, since we just talked about her design. A few different artists tried their hand at developing a design that could reflect Mei's gameplay abilities, tie in the obvious visual themes of snow and ice, hint at the character's history as an environmental scientist and adventurer, and maintain visual homages to her country of origin, China. A tall order for sure, but hey, no one said this would be easy. And in my honest opinion, there were more than a few major slip-ups in the concept art stage. But they moved past these ideas and finally settled on a design that incorporated all of these elements quite successfully, and now they were ready to move on to the 3D stage. Another key component of what makes Overwatch so unique is their style of animation. From their breathtaking cinematics to the 5-second in-game emotes, the development team has taken full advantage of their ability to bring their characters to life in a 3D world. So much can be said about a character through just a quick and simple animation. Take, for example, the dance emotes. As part of Overwatch's first anniversary event, they introduced a series of dance emotes for each character, and every one is completely unique. Some pay tribute to the character's culture and nationality of origin. Others are references to pop culture. And all of them reveal something important about the character's personality, behavior, and motives. Soldier 76 is one of my least favorite character designs in the game. We have a whole other video on that rant if you want to check that out. But his dance pokes fun at his generally boring and uninspired design, which I love. Reaper, another rather drab character design, also makes fun of his overly exaggerated melodramatic personality with his dance. Characters also have varying victory poses, highlight intros, and voice lines, all of which add more depth to their design. Something that I think goes underappreciated in Overwatch, however, are the subtle animations that most players take for granted. Take, for example, something that is present in every first-person shooter, reload animations. In most cases, these sorts of elements of a game come as an afterthought to players. I mean, it's pretty hard to appreciate the subtlety of reloading a weapon in the heat of combat. But if you have a chance, the next time you're playing Overwatch, take a second to really watch one of the characters reload. So much can be understood about a character by seeing nothing other than a pair of hands and a unique piece of weaponry. Junkrat slams the used magazine out of his grenade launcher, then aggressively slaps another one in, eager to drain it again. Pharah calmly and efficiently loads her next set of missiles into a rocket launcher, exactly as she had been trained to do in her military background. And Mei, being her careful, dainty self, gently twists the handle of her customized cryo gun, keeping one gloved pinky up. So much thought and care went into every single aspect of this game, and it pays off at every level to create an immersive world that can keep a player engaged for hours. There's one other thing that Overwatch does right with their character design, something that, for some strange reason, is a source of controversy in the world of gaming. Representation. Why is it that so many video games star young white males as their protagonists? Is it because the developers want to appeal to a target demographic of the same description? Are society's preconceived perceptions of race and gender so limiting that games feel like they need to stick to the stereotypes of previous generations, or else risk alienating the consumer? Or is the video game industry plagued with stubborn minds, unable or unwilling to include the perspective of women or other cultures? I believe it's a combination of the three, but I'm happy to see that there does seem to be a shift in the status quo, in video games at least, over the last few years. We still have a long, long way to go, but games like Overwatch do a great job of helping people of any race, culture, or gender feel included in their community. Having female characters that are strong, independent, and can be appreciated for more than just their sex appeal is something that's really quite rare in a lot of video games. The range of diversity in terms of body type and race not only creates a more welcoming environment for women who might feel ostracized by other games, but also challenges men like myself to reevaluate what women in video games can look like. Having characters with origins from all around the world helps otherwise closed-minded individuals experience the perspective of different people and cultures, and while it's certainly not guaranteed to change anything, it's a big step in the right direction. Now, all that being said, Overwatch's character design is not perfect. In fact, a lot of what I just said about inclusivity and representation is as contrasted in some characters as it is exemplified in others. This isn't to say that there's anything inherently wrong with a character that's designed to be sexually attractive, or one whose design is tired and overused. But it is shocking to me that despite the amount of progressive and groundbreaking character design in Overwatch, there are still characters like Widowmaker, Soldier 76, and Reaper. Don't get me wrong, I've seen much, much worse. And I don't hold anything against the development team for these characters. They're simple, straightforward, and easy for a player to understand, both from a gameplay perspective and from the point of view of character design. In short, they help bring over the Call of Duty players. But when all is said and done, Overwatch is really one of the most well thought out and well designed first-person shooters there is. I think we can all learn something from it, whether our interests lie in game design, art, the sci-fi genre as a whole, or even if you have no interest in playing the game at all. So if you have a chance, I highly recommend that you check out this game. I can assure you, there's something in it for everyone.
You know, the world could always use more heroes.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to leave your thoughts on what we talked about today down in the comments and start a conversation with someone. If you like this video, please let me know. I would like to do more video essays like this on character design in other games and movies and comics, so if this is something that you want to see more of, throw me a like and subscribe to stay tuned for more. Also, if you have any ideas for future topics that you'd like me to discuss, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.